$7,670,319 is the exact amount that I've been able to bring in for our clients at our creative ads agency in just the last 30 days using one very specific ads testing strategy that I want to break down in this video. So if you're new to the channel, my name is James and I run an e-com ads agency where we pretty much have an internal team of creative strategists, video editors, and so on, which allows us to create tons of ads for some of the biggest dropshipping brands in the industry. And in this video, I want to break down the entire system of how we actually test ads in a very strategic and kind of data-driven way that allows us to juice the most amount of profit possible. So I think this is going to be super valuable for a lot of you guys. Even if you're just starting out, this is going to give you a lot of guidance on how to actually be creating your ads and some of the variables that you should be testing within your ads as well. But anyways, let's get right into it. So it's first very important that we actually break down what a concept is, because a lot of the times in these videos, I'm talking about, we tested this concept or that concept, and a lot of people have questions of what even is a concept, like what goes into that. So there are three main variables that I think make up an ad concept. So number one is the angle. Number two is the awareness level, and number three is the format. So first is the angle, and this is probably the most important thing that you need to be testing when you're testing ads, when you're testing concepts. What you're gonna be changing up the most is the angle. The awareness level matters a little bit. I think it's more so important for juicing maximum profit out of already winning ads, but we'll break that down a little bit in the future of this video at least. And then the format is just like, how are you delivering the ad itself? Is it a VSL? Is it a trendy short form, like 10-second trending video with trending sound and just text on screen? Is it a static ad? So obviously there's plenty of different formats that you can test for any sort of angle or awareness level. So I'm gonna break all this down in this video, but first off, we're going to start off with the angle. So what I see as making up an angle is a problem and an avatar. So what you want to do is pretty much figure out all the problems and pain points that your product can solve. And I'm talking about, you're going to have these overarching problems and pain points, but then you're also going to have more niche, more specific problems and pain points. So for example, if the main problem that your product solves is knee pain, there's going to be very specific problems within that you can also target in your ads angle as well. So under knee pain, you could be targeting, pain when trying to walk the dog or pain when trying to get out of bed. So those are just more specific pain points that you could target when you're creating an angle. But again, I don't want to harp on this for too long. So obviously, again, you have the problem and you have the avatar. So the avatar, again, think of it the same way as the problem, how you have these like overarching avatars and then you have very niche avatars. So for example, an overarching avatar is women 50 plus. But then if you want to niche down even more, which is what I recommend you do, because if you're targeting everyone with like women 50 plus, you're kind of targeting no one and it's just not going to resonate that well. But yeah, for example, if you have women 50 plus, you're going to also have maybe nurses that are 50 plus that struggle with a specific problem. So you really want to be speaking to a specific group of customers with your ad. But I want to break this down a little bit more in depth in terms of how do you actually test these angles strategically? Because there's a few different ways that you can go about this. I guess before we get into this, if you're just starting out and you don't have much data for your brand specifically, what you're going to be doing a lot of is probably testing a bunch of different problems and different avatars. And you're not really going to be pairing them up much because you don't have data on which avatars or which problems are working the best for you. These two methods of testing the same problem in different avatars or same avatar and different problems, this is more so once you start to get data on what's working and what's not. And that's going to be what allows you to actually juice out more profit. But yeah, this is what you're going to be doing mostly at the start, is just testing a bunch of different problems, a bunch of different avatars, kind of grouping them together and seeing which gains the most traction. And even if you aren't getting like hard metrics of who's purchasing, you're going to be able to look at things like your click-through rate and your cost per click to ultimately see what angles are resonating the best. So if you're creating a bunch of angles targeting nurses and they're getting really low cost per clicks or click-through rates, then that is probably a good indicator that you might want to double down on that. And even though, if you're just starting out and you haven't got many purchases yet, if you're seeing those very good soft metrics, that's a good indicator of wanting to double down on some of those angles. But yeah, let's get into these two other methods. So this is, again, once you've kind of got some more data and you know what's working and what's not, because this is going to be when you're narrowing down your variables even more and ultimately just juicing out even more profit. So for example, you'll have the same problem and you can test different avatars. So in this case, the example I used here is knee pain for seniors, knee pain for nurses, knee pain for doctors, knee pain for athletes. And what you have to understand is when you're creating an angle around knee pain for seniors, that is going to be a drastically different angle than when you're testing it for athletes, because athletes and seniors struggle with very different things on their day-to-day life. And the best way to create these angles is going to be using specific language and kind of speaking as if you were the customer. So obviously targeting seniors versus athletes, it's going to be drastically different. The next way is by targeting the same persona, same avatar, but with different problems. Just how I was talking about how you have kind of these overarching issues and sub issues that go within that. This is what you're going to be doing in this case here. So for example, the overarching issue that you want to be targeting here is, let's say, knee pain, but then in these different angles that you want to test, you can target seniors that have difficulty getting up the stairs because of knee pain, or seniors that have difficulty getting out of their chair because of knee pain, or seniors that have pain while walking their dogs. And ultimately, you want to be breaking down in each of these ads, how are these issues affecting their life? And you really want to twist the knife on these issues, because if you're targeting, let's say, knee pain or pain while walking their dogs, there's a bunch of other issues that go into that are going to affect their day-to-day life. So maybe they're not able to now walk their dog, and now that is hurting their confidence because they're gaining weight. And that it's this huge spiral effect, and that's essentially what you want to be creating in your ads. But anyways, that's enough of how to test angles strategically. Now I want to get into the different awareness levels. For every different concept, you can test the exact same angle, but for different stages of awareness. So for example, when you're targeting knee pain for seniors, a lot of your audience might be within problem aware. So they know that they have knee pain, obviously. It's unlikely that they're not going to be aware of their problem because it's a physical issue. But for example, for knee pain, they're going to be problem aware. They're going to know that they have knee pain, but they don't know how to solve it. This is going to be a large section of the audience in this case. But there also might be another large section of your audience that has already heard of your product, but they're just not really sold on it yet. So they have this knee pain, they know that you sell like this amazing knee brace, but they're just still not sold on it all the way. So the way in which you might be able to convert these people is going to be with an offer-focused ad or something that is really talking about your discount and essentially trying to just get them over the edge and make the purchase right then and there. But that's going to be drastically different than how you are targeting people that don't know how to solve their issue, because if you're just throwing an offer in these people's face when they're just problem aware, they don't know how to solve it, they might not necessarily resonate with that because they don't know about your product yet. So maybe something like a VSL would work a lot better for customers that are problem aware, whereas someone that is product aware or already knows all about your product, they might just need sort of a shorter ad, an offer focused ad, something like that. So again, this is like some of the nitty gritty stuff that you need to be testing when you're actually creating concepts, because you need to be hitting your customers everywhere. You have to recognize that there are so many different like subsections of people that might buy your product that might be at different awareness levels. They might be different avatars, so athletes, nurses, whatever. They might be facing different root causes of their issues or different specific issues that they're facing on their day-to-day life. And this is what you need to be testing. You want to niche down a lot, especially at the very start. You want to niche down and kind of have this sort of shotgun mixed with sniper approach. So shotgun in the sense that you're testing a bunch of different stuff, but with that approach, every single thing that you're testing, you want to be very specific. So you want to be targeting a very specific sub problem, a very specific avatar, and a very specific awareness level. And then obviously you also just kind of make the format what makes sense for that concept. This is again sort of an afterthought. What you're going to be developing before you actually create a concept is most of the time the angle. And then depending on your avatar, you're going to be able to kind of make up your awareness level after that, because it comes down to essentially how well does that subsection of your audience or the avatar that you're targeting, how well do they already know about your product? How well do they know about the problem that they're facing? Do they know about other solutions on the market? So that's obviously something that all goes into awareness level as well. Honestly, there is also just so much more that goes into creating winning ads. This is sort of just the basics, so I hope this helped some of you guys out. If you are looking for more specific help and you just find like you just can't create a winning ad to save your life, I am taking on a select few people, honestly probably taking like 1 or 2 more people on to work with me one-on-one directly. I'll give you all of our systems and SOPs, all our learnings, everything that we have for our agency to be able to produce winning ads for brands, doing a combined like 6.5 mil a month right now. If you want access to all of that, click the first link in the description and you'll be prompted to be able to book a call with me. If you are pre-approved, then I will get on the call. I will be honest, this is gonna be for people that have a little bit more experience with dropshipping already. If you are a complete beginner, I honestly recommend that you just subscribe and watch my YouTube videos, because I'm going to be breaking down a ton more stuff like this. But yeah, if you do feel like creating winning ads is like really what you're struggling with right now and you're just unable to scale your brand or just get a brand to take off and you just know everything else is dialed but you just can't create winning ads, then this is probably gonna be perfect for you. And one last thing, I've also created a free Discord with some resources within it, some stuff that I give away for free just by joining the Discord. There's no email opt-in, nothing like that. So if you want to join that, once we hit 1,000 members, I'm going to be doing a couple group Q&As with everyone in that community. So I want to build a sick community in there, honestly. There's obviously stuff that I want to share in there that I don't necessarily want to share publicly on YouTube. So if you do want to join the Discord, click that second link in the description. But yeah, that's all I've got for today. So I will see you in the next video.